Hey, welcome back to another episode of Media Talks TV with your host, Tony J. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, hit the like, and click the bell for more notifications. We got more videos coming up. Uh, I'm just going to make a brief comment about this whole death of rich homie Quan. You know, it's been in the news lately, so I said, I had to speak my piece on it. And, just I want to see what my subscribers really feel about this because you know, every time I scroll through Instagram or go through different news organizations, you're starting to notice a dangerous precedent being set. I don't know what it is, but this has been ultimately the decade of dead rappers. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's in the air, but it, I feel like these last 10 years, we've lost some amazing, talented rappers. And I don't know why. I don't know why some of these rappers are compelled to use drugs because drug addiction never used to really be a thing in hip hop. And one of the things that's often very telling about this decade of rap is it's like drug addiction has become a thing in hip hop music now. And nothing is being said or talked about enough about hip hop and drug addiction and how it's killing off some of our most talented rappers of all time. I remember hearing Rich Homie Quan back in 2013. I remember when My Hitter came out. I remember how very popular that song was. And it's actually, what's interesting is that song was used as um, Coach Coach Prime's theme music for his football team. And that's crazy, you really think about it. My Hitter was one of those songs that, he always say cue up my theme music and then he put My Hitter on. And he Rich Homie Quan, even though he was short lived, really made an impact on the culture to that extent. I don't know what it is with all these rappers dying. It's like, you know, usually the average rapper would die from getting shot. Now we got rappers dying from drug overdoses, getting shot. Julio Fulio, another rapper that was shot and killed, and it's so many of these musicians. They're laying a dangerous precedent. We've had more celebrity deaths in the last couple of years that don't make any sense to me. But this one is kind of like really we're kind of out of flashpoints at this juncture. You know, having all these rappers dying has become normal now. If you think about it, every time a new rapper comes out, somebody's getting shot. I've had local rappers in my city, Baltimore, shot and killed, never been able to really make it out and actually make a difference. You know, little Scooter getting shot, nobody found his killer yet. And it's just like, if I even wanted to be in the business of being a rapper, because at one point I wanted to be a rapper, but then I was like, what's the point, man? Like the music is good, but is it worth taking a bullet? Is it worth the drama that the rap game comes with? And I was like, no, let's put the pen down, focus on something different. And I've seen some of these rappers just go down dark paths and never come out of it. And then there's ones that are trying to do the positive thing and do the right thing, and they end up getting shot nonetheless with with Nipsey Hussle, you know. But I just hope that these artists start turning the tide and seeing the light and saying to themselves that they don't have to get caught up in the glitz and glamour of the rap game. You know, so many rappers that were so talented back then, they moved on from that and got regular jobs doing something different because they knew their heyday was over. You know, they say, rap is a young man's game. You know, I think Chuck D used to say that all the time, rap was a young man's game. So when at certain points the average rapper's career lasts only but 4 years. Those that that lasted longer than that, they're veterans now. They're the rarity. The Snoop Dogg's, the Nas's, Commons. They all outlive their youth. They all outlive past their youthfulness to bring us great music. But they also diversified themselves away from their music into certain other junctures like movies and writing for films and stuff like that, acting. So those guys always had longevity beyond that. But, you know, my generation, the way I understand, I seen all the flashpoints at a younger age when we saw Biggie and Tupac. And it's just like this younger generation, some of these kids, they were born right after Tupac and Biggie had died. And they never lived in that time period where they saw some of their greatest rappers be gunned down. But even in that had an impact on me because I realized rap is always has one foot in the street and one foot in the music booth, and both could really go wrong. The tragedy of the rap artist is always either drugs, gun violence, or going to jail for the rest of your life. There's no way around it. In this case, the younger generation, they tend to crash out very quickly and flame out very quickly than your average rap artist. And that's troubling. The whole music industry right now is going through a moral freefall, just like it was with jazz music when jazz had their drug age. It was like, okay, well, this jazz artist died from heroin. All the artists that took heroin because they thought it made them play better didn't realize that it wasn't the heroin that made them play better. It was them that were able to make themselves play better. They got away from it and kicked the habit, became better artists and better musicians. Some died within that era. And when you learn from people like Charlie Parker, you know not to fuck around with drugs. That drugs don't make your music better than what it already is. You know not to mess around it when you see Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix die from that shit. Know not to fuck around with it. Biggie and Tupac died. A lot of rap artists in that era chose to turn away from violent lyrics or lyrics that were kind of dedicated to the streets. They turned away from it because they knew where it would get them. I think the biggest problem with a lot of these artists right now is there's no focus on health. There's no focus on consciousness and trying to better their lives and better their opportunities. You have all this money, but yet you choose to dabble in lean and codeine and drugs and all this type of shit and fentanyl. Got other rappers. I was going to make a separate video about Fat Man Scoop and understanding why a lot of the older rappers, which are in their 50s and 60s, they're dying before they get to a they're dying before they get to AARP age, which is problematic. The only one that's really outlived all of them, really at this point, would be Ice-T, and that's amazing. See where Ice-T is, but to get back to my main point about Rich Homie Quan, it's like you know it shouldn't take a death for people to realize that they got to turn shit around. And I'm asking and telling a lot of these artists, look, if you have an addiction to coke, lean, pills, fentanyl, get some help, man. Because there's millions of people that's out there watching and listening to your stuff. And, you know, people follow your example. You have a large following. And it shouldn't have to come to you being dead in order for you to realize that you have a problem, that you have an addiction, that you let your addiction drown you. We done lost two rappers within 1 week of each other. Last week was Fat Man Scoop. This week is Rich Homie Quan. He's 34. Other one is damn near closer hitting about almost hit 60, or 50, either one. But it just doesn't make no sense at this point. And I'm kind of shocked at all these rappers just dying, from just petty shit. Nothing is focused on the artistry of the musical genre anymore. It's like people are taking that shit for granted. Wake up one morning and another rap artist might be dead from getting shot or dead from drinking lean. All these fucking lean babies, like just motherfuckers, like this, like everything within, like with jazz music it was heroin, with rock it was LSD, acid, bennies and uppers and all that other shit. Early hip hop it was crack and heroin, but mainly crack. Now, you know, fucking lean and fentanyl. It just gets worse and worse as the decades go along. Hip hop is in its 50th year, and still we have a crisis right now with the younger generation. And I fault the older rap artists for not really reining shit in and bringing these young rappers to heel to really harshly criticize them for the lives that they lead. Because at the end of the rap game, there has to be some type of longevity at the end of this shit. Maybe you're doing it because you want to get out of the hood. You're doing it because you want to, make yourself financially sufficient, or you're just dabbling in that world and then you drown in it. Maybe Ice Spice has figured that out. Maybe Meg the Stallion is starting to figure that out, and she'll figure it out later on. But this game is very short lived, and I started to realize that as old as I get, and the artists that I've listened to over the last 25 years, this game is very, very short lived. And if you don't take care of yourself and not attach yourself to this, if you dabble in it, you're just going to drown in it. And I think this is what happened to a lot of artists like Rich Homie Quan, like, you know, a lot of these artists, some of the artists from the early 2010s, I don't even hear from no more. The whole swag surfing craze and the whole crank that Batman shit, like that just really completely phased out. I haven't even heard from Ray Sherman anymore. I remember how popular they were. You haven't heard them put an album out anymore. The Coke Boys, they haven't put an album out. It was so many rap artists in the beginning of the 2010s. It just didn't feel like, you know, they would go that deep down into a dystopian world. Like rap has gotten a lot more darker too, and people don't even acknowledge that. Too much worshiping of material things and material goods, and that's often that's very, very problematic. But to Rich Homie Quan, an example that's happened is this issue with drug addiction. It's like all these artists are getting known for something and then dying for nothing, gaining that profit and then losing everything. It's like fame just kind of eats at them. And then when they get it, they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to separate themselves from their artwork. They become the art. This has been another episode of Media Talks TV. I'm your host, Tony J. Be sure to hit the like, share, and subscribe. Got one more video coming up. Be sure to keep putting out more videos as time goes on, but I'm going to take a brief sabbatical after this last video, and then after that, it is what it is. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for watching. This is Tony J. Media Talks TV. I'm out.